blushing brides and current or aspiring planners. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, welcome. I'm Kyle James. I'm so happy to have you here. If you're not already, be sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss any of my new wedding planning and design videos coming up. Also, I would love to hear from you. Drop me a note in the comments below and introduce yourself. If you're a bride, I would love to hear a little bit about your wedding, and if you're a planner or an aspiring planner, let me know where you're located and maybe a little bit about your business. I would love to connect with you and hear from you guys. In this video, we are talking blush. I am so obsessed. I love this wedding color so much. So if you are planning a blush wedding or you have blush as one of your accent colors, be sure that you head over to my blush wedding shop page. I will link it below for you. There I'm gonna compile all the links for everything that I'm gonna talk about today and shop all of my favorites. So bridesmaids dresses, invitation signs, escort cards and other decor, and then some bridesmaids accessories and favors. All things blush that you could ever want. I'll link that below, so head over there after you watch this to check that out. First, let me introduce the 3 different weddings that I'll be featuring in this video. I'm just gonna go through and show you each of the details from each of the weddings so you can just have tons of ideas. So the first wedding is Maddie and Jordan, and I'm literally obsessed with this wedding. It is the most stunning wedding ever. Oh my gosh. So theirs is a modern lilac and blush wedding with disco balls, hydrangeas, and iridescent details. All things that I am obsessed with right now. And then for each of these weddings, I'll link them below. The next wedding is Samantha and Kevin's wedding. So their style is going to be a lot more like classic and a little bit rustic even. It definitely has some like Southern California vibes to it, but it's also, you could go kind of rustic with it. And then the third wedding is actually a celebrity wedding. If you're a fan of Glee, this is Dean Geyer's wedding to Jillian Murray. So a nice little celeb wedding for you. And this one is natural glam with a heavy emphasis on glam. I'm so obsessed with this wedding too. It's so stunning. Keep in mind that these weddings are all pretty high budget weddings, probably 6 figures for each of them. So definitely don't be like comparing your wedding to these. I would recommend using these videos more for like ideas and inspiration as opposed to comparing your wedding to them, because they obviously had an insane amount of money to spend on them. I will also be sharing tons of ideas throughout this video that are actually shoppable so that you can actually apply them to your wedding. Before I show you the incredible invitation suites from each of these weddings and some of my picks for favorite blush wedding invitations, I wanted to talk about the Unveiled Ultimate Wedding Planning Workbook. If you are planning your wedding right now and you haven't downloaded it yet, it is a must-have. It's 160 pages, over 160 pages, of all things wedding planning. So your checklists, timelines, and tons of worksheets that walk you through planning each and every detail of your wedding. And I also just launched these custom binders that go with it. So you'll buy the workbook and you get that instantly to download and print, and you can start working on it while you're waiting for your binder. But these binders are stunning. I'm so excited about them. This is the Magnolia binder that you see here. If you buy the planner and the binder at the same time, definitely use the discount code Let's Plan, because that will give you 20% off your entire order. And I also have a couple different binders to choose from, and they all come in all of the different wedding colors. And then if your maid of honor does not have my maid of honor manual workbook, definitely grab that for them, and then you can also get them a custom binder that matches yours as well. And those come in every color too. There's nothing better than just having everything pretty and organized so that you really feel like you can take on this process, and your maid of honor too. So make sure you grab all of that at once and then use the discount code Let's Plan at checkout, and that will save you $25 on your entire order. All right, let's look at some blush invitation ideas. So here's Maddie and Jordan's invitation. I just love it so much. They kind of stuck with like this like super light pastel colors on the invitations, and I like how each card is a different color. And then the details card is actually a floral print, which is really pretty, and it all just ties together. And then here is the invitation for Samantha and Kevin's wedding. Tied in their California venue into their invitation by doing kind of like a watercolor version of it. It's so pretty. And then they did blush for the envelope. I love that touch. And then here is the invitation from Jillian and Dean's wedding, and they actually didn't include any blush in theirs. They did like a light blue, marbly, oceany look with the gold foil. So here are a few of my favorite blush invitation ideas, and these ones are all from Minted. Minted is definitely my top pick for invitations. They just make it so easy. They have stunning designs to choose from, and then they have so many different ways that you can customize them, like changing the shape and the color and the wording and everything. So I just love Minted so much, highly recommend them. This first one is like a floral arched invitation. I think this is super pretty if you were going for the very blush look. You can also choose different envelopes and different liners and everything as well. And then my next pick is this to have and to hold invitation. I love this so much. The to have and to hold from this day forward is in foil, and you can actually pick different colors for the foil. So the one I'm showing here is with the rose gold foil on the blush invitation, but you could also do gold or silver or whatever goes with your wedding colors. And then one more pick that I love, especially for like a more like fall wedding, is this other floral arch one. Obviously I am into the floral arch situation, but this one has more of like fall vibes to me. So stunning. I just love this set too. So all of these again are linked in my blush wedding shop, plus I'll link a bunch more of my other invitation picks there as well. Here is some blush bride and groom inspiration for you. I just want to show you the bride and groom attire from each wedding. So this is Maddie and Jordan. She did a tulle and floral dress with the spaghetti straps, and then I love how she just like wore her hair down and straight. It's so pretty. And then her groom was in a black and white tux, and she worked the blush into her look in her bouquet that's stunning and just goes along with every other part of the wedding. And then she also changed into a short dress later in the evening for the reception. Here is Samantha and Kevin's bride and groom look. Her dress is a Lazaro, so stunning. I have loved this dress for so long, it's so pretty. And he went with the classic black suit with a black tie. Here's one more look at her dress. Oh, I just love it so much. And then here's Jillian and Dean's wedding look. She went with a more fitted mermaid style gown, and he did a classic black tuxedo. All right, next up, let's look at some blush bridesmaids inspiration. So I'll show you what they did for each of these weddings, and then I'll show you some of my top picks for actual blush bridesmaids dresses that you can shop. And again, I'll have them all linked in the blush wedding shop. So Maddie and Jordan focused on the lilac color for her bridesmaids, and she just did completely mix and match. And then they all got the pink and the blush in their bouquets. She pulled off such a stunning mix and match bridesmaids look. It's perfect. So if you were wanting to stick with just the blush for your bridesmaids dresses, you could pull off this look with different shades of the blush and dusty rose and different pink floral dresses. And I have a look in the shoppable bridesmaids dresses that I'll show you in a minute. But first, let's check out Samantha and Kevin's wedding party. I love how they did this. Her girls were in white lace dresses, and again, they did the blushes in their floral. And then Jillian and Dean, this is actually like the main part that she really worked the blush into her wedding. She did the rose gold sequin dresses. And then she had a bridesman. I think it's so old school to have each gender split up on each different side. So if you want some guys to stand up on your side, or your partner wants some girls to stand up on their side, I think it's great to mix and match. And then, so she did include a guy in hers, and then had him have the black tux that the groomsmen were wearing, but instead of the black bow tie like the other groomsmen, he did like a rose gold bow tie to match the other girls' dresses. So here are my top picks for some blush bridesmaids dresses. These first ones are Show Me Your Miu Miu. I love this gown. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty, and I feel like it could go if you were having a more formal or a more casual wedding. Definitely more of a summer pick. And then here's the back of that one, so pretty. And then another one, this is the Fairy Tale Maxi, and it has the tulle on it, so stunning. And then just definitely a crowd favorite around here is the Claire midi dress, and this one is in the rose gold satin. I just am so in love with this dress in every color. So they have it in the rose gold satin if you wanted to do that. They also just have a blush dress as well if you aren't totally feeling the satin look. And then a few birdie gray dresses for you. This is the Grace convertible dress. It can be worn like a million different ways. I like birdie gray's blush. It's very, very light pink. And then they also have this really stunning floral in a couple different styles. This is my favorite. This one is a convertible dress as well, so you can wear the sleeves on the outside of the shoulders with the spaghetti strap, so it's like the cold shoulder look, or you can just take the bottom part of the sleeve off, and so it just looks like a ruffle on the top, and it's just spaghetti strap. They also have a ton of really pretty rose gold satin looks too. I love this one with the sleeves. This would be such a pretty blush bridesmaids look. And then here's a full blush mix and match look that I was talking about earlier. You could do the pale blush in one of the dresses, the floral in one of the dresses, and then with a dusty rose as well. Let's take a look at some ideas for some blush groomsmen. So for Maddie and Jordan, they just had everyone in a classic black tux. And I think they may have worked the blush into the boutonnieres. Again, you don't have to have every single aspect have your color in it because it might be a little bit overwhelming if you do that. So you can definitely pick and choose, but I will show you some ways to work blush into your groomsmen attire too. Here's Samantha and Kevin's groomsmen. They went with gray suits with black ties, and then they did the blush pocket squares. And then Jillian and Dean had all the groomsmen in the classic black tuxes. So some ideas for groomsmen. I'll show you some suits and tuxes, and then I'll show you how to work blush into them. So these ones are all from Suit Shop. Suit Shop is definitely my top pick for groom and groomsmen attire. They just make it so easy. You can just go on their website and create your wedding party and pick which suits you want and just kind of tell everybody what they're supposed to be buying so they can just buy it in their size, and you can just track everything on there. They make it super easy and it's very affordable. So you could go with the classic black tux. I like the idea of doing the groomsmen in gray. I think either the charcoal gray or the lighter gray would both look great to go along with a blush color scheme. And then here's a few pics from their site of ties. They have the just solid blush tie. They also have this floral blush tie. I think that would be really cool and add a little bit of a different look to your groomsmen. You could also do a blush bow tie, or you could do a dusty rose bow tie if you wanted it to be a little bit more pink. And then they also have a blush pocket square as well. And all their ties and bow ties and pocket squares are extremely affordable, I think. It might also be fun to grab them some blush or some pink socks too. I love those groomsmen photos of when they're all like sitting down or all showing their socks, and if they all had like the blush socks, that could be kind of fun too. And those are again on Suit Shop. All of this is linked in my shop so that you can easily shop all of it. Next up, let's look at the blush ceremonies. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you're ready for how stunning Maddie and Jordan's ceremony is, but look at this. So pretty. They did a like rectangle arch as their backdrop covered in florals. It's mostly hydrangeas, so that they got that really full floral look, and then they did that along the back of the chairs too. Here's a closer look at their altar. So they also did a little raised stage, which is kind of a cool idea to help everyone see better and to really like highlight the bride and groom. And then Samantha and Kevin's ceremony was in front of this beautiful gazebo, and then they decorated it with the blush floral as well. So stunning. They did more of like a classic floral and greenery look, but lots and lots of pink on there. They also decorated the chairs just along the aisle with some blush chiffon and some floral as well. Another cute idea that I love that they did for their reserved seating at the front, they had these really cute little handwritten tags. And then another really cute blush touch that they did was some pink confetti, some blush pink confetti for their recessional. This makes for such pretty photos. I love confetti photos. But obviously make sure it's biodegradable and make sure that it's okay with your venue. Most venues don't even allow this, so definitely double check on that if it's allowed, and if it is, you can definitely get some really cute photos with that. And then here is the ceremony for Jillian and Dean. It's also another stunning ceremony. They did this really pretty acrylic welcome sign for their ceremony. And then look at this, so stunning. So they just did the white and green floral and stuck with everything very white and classic. I love how they did the raised aisle here too. That's very, very cool. Here's a closer look at their arch. Just full white and green floral, so pretty. A nice little touch that they did was they had some sparkling rosé that they handed out at the beginning of the ceremony. So that's a nice little pink touch too. And then they also had a little like mimosa bar, it looks like, outside of the ceremony too, that kind of works in those blushy pink colors. I love the idea of serving drinks before the ceremony, even if it's just water, because often it's like really hot out and your guests are sitting there waiting for quite a while. So it's nice to offer some refreshments, and it can obviously be a very cute setup too. All right, next up, let's look at some blush wedding signs. So Maddie and Jordan, again, they crushed it. This is their sign for their entrance into their reception. They just did a neon sign of their last names. You can get these on Etsy. I'll find some to link in my shop, but this is a cool keepsake too from your wedding. And then they did like the balloons. I love how they worked the balloons into their decor. And then next to the sign, they had like disco balls and these lilac candles and tons of floral. I love to like keep the actual sign itself very simple and then like really make it a statement by having the different things around it. So the things like lanterns or disco balls or whatever on the floor with floral and candles. And then another set of signs that they did was they had this really pretty setup at their cocktail hour of their signature drinks. So they did some cute acrylic bar signs as well. And they did theirs more of like the lilac color, but you could definitely pull off this exact same look except for do these little bar signs in blush or a dusty rose. Here are some of the signs from Samantha and Kevin's wedding. This is what I was talking about when I said like a little bit more of like a rustic vibe with the wooden signs and then little greenery touches on those. And then they did this like paper handwritten sign for their cocktail hour bar with their signature drinks, their bar menu here. And then the bar menu inside was another wooden sign. So these signs you can make yourself or you can order them off Etsy. And then they also did a dessert menu sign in the wooden sign with the cute white font as well. And then as far as signs for Jillian and Dean, they didn't do too many signs. They did this acrylic welcome sign, and then they also had their names in gold on this stunning bar at their reception. And then here's their bar menu. They just did a simple like printed bar menu in a gold frame. All right, let's look at some seating charts and escort cards. Again, Maddie and Jordan just killed it with their seating chart. I wish there was more detailed photos of it. This is the only photo, but oh my gosh. It's like a full experience to just find your seat. So the find your seat sign at the front is really pretty. They did like the lilac color with the iridescent lettering on there. That's something you could make yourself. I do have some videos coming up on how to make all of these acrylic signs. So you can definitely make that yourself or you can order it on Etsy. And then it looks like for their actual seating chart, they just did the large white acrylic boards on the back and then just tons of incredible floral and yeah, just stunning. Samantha and Kevin's seating chart doubled as their favored. They did some beautiful leather luggage tags. I also love that they worked in their love for travel in there as well. And then again, you can see like the floral and the candles around it are what really makes it all pop. So those were their escort cards. So for your seating chart and your escort cards, it will tell your guests which table. And then if you have specific assigned seating at the table, then you'll want to do place cards at the table. And so they opted to do custom menus that had the guest name at the top. And then Jillian and Dean's wedding, so they just did this like clear acrylic and gold find your seat sign, but it says find your party animal, which is really cute. And then the animals are in gold, and then they had each of the escort cards in there. And then for the actual table numbers, they did each animal. So whichever animal was holding the escort card would be the table that you were at, which is very cute. Here's a few, it's just basic blush escort cards from Minted. And then all of these have the foil details on them. And again, with Minted, you can choose the color of foil. So these are all of them in rose gold, and then you can also do them each in gold as well. So whichever one, if you're feeling a more pink feel, you could go with the rose gold foil, but if you wanted to tone it down a little, you could just do gold or silver too. And again, all of these are in my blush wedding shop if you see something you like. And then as far as seating charts, so I did go ahead and design some of my own seating charts. I love the seating charts on Minted, but they're really small. Like their maximum sign size is like 18 by 24. So especially if you have a bigger seating chart, that's just gonna be like really small font. So I went ahead and designed some for you, and mine are actually 24 by 36. So they're still pretty simple, and you could add like floral and lanterns and stuff to like really make them pop, but they're gonna be big so that your guests actually notice them and it's easy for them to find their name. And for mine, you can also sort it by table if you want to do each of the table numbers like pictured here, or you can just do a list of the guest names with the table number next to it, and you just put the guest names in alphabetical order, and that makes it a little bit easier for them to find their names. But whichever look that you like. Here's a couple of my choices from Minted. Again, I just think their stuff is stunning and it's very high quality, but it's just printed on like a heavy card paper, so it's not as sturdy, and it's only 18 by 24. So all of these will be linked in my blush wedding shop if you see something you like. Next up, let's take a look at the blush, tabletop, and floral in each of the weddings. Here is Maddie and Jordan's reception. It's like such a dream with the string light. So they did the blush chairs on the two middle tables, and then like glass tables, and then they had some other guest tables off to the side that had the dusty rose or blush linens with clear acrylic chairs. Here's a closer look at their centerpiece. So this just matches all of the other floral that they had everywhere else. So pretty. Here's another look at the floral on their main tables in the middle. They just did those white hydrangeas all the way down. And here's a look at their sweetheart table. They did it kind of elevated up on a stage as well. I love that. I think that helps everybody be able to see them and see their stunning sweetheart table setup. And then it will also look really great for photos too. They did a stunning floral garland that goes all the way down their table too. And here's a look at their sweetheart table settings. They did the pink plates with the blush napkins, and then those really cute place cards on there too. I also want to show you the other parts of their reception because it's just like to die for. So here's they obviously did that sign again for like the entrance to their reception. So it looks like they had like the actual dinner outside under all of those twinkling lights, and then the dancing and like lounge area was actually inside. So they did this dance floor right under the neon sign with a floral chandelier and some disco balls up there. And then here's a look at their blush lounge. Oh my gosh. If you have the budget to add a lounge, I think it adds so much to your decor. It just makes it so pretty. And it's so useful because not everyone is gonna be dancing all night. So it's really cool to have a place where people can kind of mingle and hang out when they're not on the dance floor. But again, no pressure there. Like that's a lot of budget to be able to pull off a lounge area. It'll usually cost you probably $2,000 to $4,000 for a small lounge setup to do like a rug and a couch and tables and everything. And then if you wanted something big like this, they probably spent like $20,000 on theirs. So it's definitely very budget intensive to have a lounge, but if you can swing it, it's really cool and it looks great. Let's take a look at Samantha and Kevin's wedding reception, their tabletop and floral. So they did the wooden tables and the wooden chairs, and then they did all long tables. I love that look because they did the floral garland all the way through with the blush floral, and then they had their menus on their plates, and then it looks like they did blush placemats under their plates and then blush linen napkins on there as well. Here's a quick look at their table numbers. They kind of go along with all the other stationery. And then next, let's take a look at Jillian and Dean's reception. This is like above and beyond too. It's insanely gorgeous. You have this beautiful wooden column set up, and then they did all wooden tables as well. And then for their like head table, they had this long table that's just really, really pretty. Here's a closer look at the actual tabletop. They did the clear and gold chargers with gold silverware, and then stuck to a pretty simple like just white linen with the white menu and a little greenery on there. And then they did work in some blush into their floral for their floral garland centerpieces. And then like I mentioned, they did their table numbers were actually the different animals based on which animal each guest had holding their escort card. I think this is a really cute idea, but you want to be careful getting too complicated with this because it might be kind of confusing for guests as to where they're supposed to be sitting. So theirs is really cute, and it's like very close to the edge of possibly being confusing for guests. But you could also just have your coordinator there to help people out and explain too. Another thing that they did that I absolutely love the idea of is they did photos in the reception before they had all the guests go in there. So I feel like you don't really get that great of photos during the reception just because it's like the lights are low and there's so many people and everything. So I love that they went in and took some really pretty photos during cocktail hour with all of their stunning reception decor that they spent so much on. All right, next up, let's take a look at some blush wedding cakes. Oh my gosh, you have to see these dessert setups. They are to die for. So here's Maddie and Jordan's. Again, insane, over the top, stunning. They did the blush backdrops and little columns and everything to hold all of their different desserts. It looks like they have just tons of different options. And then they did the huge floral in the front of that. Here's a closer look at their cake. The bottom tier was like the blush marble, and then they did like an ombre the rest of the way up. And then for Samantha and Kevin's cake, they did a giant donut, which is amazing. And then they did this really cute donut wall that says "How Sweet," and then had little paper handwritten flags of each of the flavors of the donuts. And then Jillian and Dean just did a stunning white and gold cake with wax figures of themselves on top, which is really cool. I don't think I've ever seen that before. It's like actually looks like them. Really, really cool, and their little dog too. All right, some blush wedding favor ideas. Samantha and Kevin did the luggage tags like I mentioned, but I also found these really pretty blush leather ones. They're like blush and gold that you can get on Etsy. I will definitely link these in my shop. And then Jillian and Dean had these little Love is Sweet boxes already on the table. I like the idea of having the favors on the table as well. I feel like they're much more likely to get taken when you give them during cocktail hour as their escort card, because then they already have them in there with their stuff. Or if they're already on the table at their seat, then I feel like they're just more likely to grab them, because sometimes favor tables kind of just get passed on the way out and people don't take their favors. So my favorite favor idea is food. If you've seen my favor videos, you know that about me. So I found if you wanted to do this little setup like Jillian and Dean did, I found these really cute clear boxes on Etsy, and they come with either one of these stickers. So I will definitely link these two favor box options plus a bunch more in my blush wedding shop. So definitely head over there and check that out. Just so many ideas in there that are all shoppable. So everything from this video plus a lot more. Also be sure that you grab your ultimate wedding planning workbook with the really cute blush binder to put it in, or whichever color you're into, the personalized binders. And then also I love the idea of doing the maid of honor workbook and the custom binder as a gift for them or like as their asks. So like when you're asking them to be their maid of honor, you're like setting them up for success with the manual and workbook that walks them through all the stuff that they need to be doing. It has checklists for them, and it walks them in detail step by step through the entire bachelorette party planning process. So definitely go grab those, go shop my Blush Wedding shop, and I'll see you next time. Happy planning.
I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on, I put my feet up, and we just